The Silent Lord and the Fireworks Girl. The Skyflower Trap. The bamboo forest of the northern province was a place where the wind whispered secrets and the shadows hid sharpened blades. On this night, the rain fell like needles, cold, relentless, and unforgiving. It washed away the scent of ancient pine and replaced it with the heavy, metallic tang of blood. Long Xiao, the feared iron-fisted lord of the Black Dragon sect, moved through the downpour like a dying ghost. His black silk robes, usually a symbol of absolute authority, were torn and sodden, clinging to a body pushed to its absolute limit. He had been betrayed. His own blood, led by his ambitious and power-hungry nephew Qingshan, had struck during the sacred moon festival. 18 poison ghost-piercing daggers had found their mark. Each one was a stinging reminder of the family he had protected, now turned into vipers. Xiao could feel the venom crawling through his veins like frozen fire, slowing his heart, numbing his hands. Uncle Xiao, a voice rang out from the darkness, dripping with fake sorrow and real malice. Out of the mist stepped Qingshan, flanked by 20 armored guards. They formed a semicircle, their torchlight reflecting off the wet bamboo. "To kill you, my dark guards have bled and died in heaps," Qingshan sneered, stepping over a fallen body. "But tonight, the dragon finally falls to the earth. Look at you, stumbling in the mud like a common beggar. You are going to hell, uncle." Xiao leaned against a mossy stone, coughing up a spray of crimson. Even near death, his eyes held the terrifying coldness of a winter storm. A bloody smirk played on his lips. "Murdering the sect leader is a capital crime, nephew. You are courting a death so slow, even the gods will turn their eyes away in horror. Do you think a few daggers can end the dragon?" "We don't need the gods to watch," Qingshan laughed, raising his sword. "We just need you to stop breathing." Suddenly, a strange, rhythmic sound echoed through the woods. Crank. 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 It was a mechanical noise, out of place in a forest of swords. Out of the thick mist stepped a girl in a simple cotton tunic, her hair tied back in a messy bun, pulling a heavy wooden cart. This was Xiao Yu, the village firework maker. She wasn't a warrior of the courts, she was a girl who lived for light, noise, and the smell of sulfur. "Hey! You lot in the fancy armor," she shouted, her voice cutting through the rain. She pointed a strange, multi-barreled bamboo contraption at the elite assassins. "Are you buying or not? I've got the Gatling Dragon on sale. 30 silver coins each. It's the loudest bang in the province and guaranteed to scare away even the grumpiest mountain spirits." Qingshan sneered, not even looking at her. "Kill this lunatic girl. She's seen too much." But Xiao Yu wasn't waiting for a polite response. She struck a flint with practiced speed. "Too high a price, you say? My hometown makes them for 15, but mine have a little extra kick for the rude customers." Whoosh! A barrage of screaming fire flares erupted from the bamboo tubes. They weren't just pretty colors for a festival, they were packed with magnesium, fine iron filings, and high-grade pepper powder. The forest exploded in a blinding white light that seared the retinas of the assassins. The Gatling roared, spitting out thunderous bangs and choking, spicy smoke. The elite guards screamed, dropping their swords to claw at their stinging eyes. In the chaotic brilliance of the sparks, Xiao Yu didn't hesitate. She grabbed the unconscious Long Xiao by his heavy silk collar and heaved him onto her vegetable cart with a strength born of years of hauling gunpowder. "Sorry, Mr. Fancy Robes, you're coming with the fireworks," she muttered, disappearing into the dark forest as the smoke began to clear. If you're enjoying this explosive start, make sure to follow and like for more epic tales. Subscribe to our channel and hit that notification bell so you never miss a chapter. The Lion in the Rabbit Hole. Xiao Yu's home was a humble, secluded courtyard nestled at the base of the hidden peak. It was a place filled with the drying scent of gunpowder, stacked paper tubes, and the quiet hum of rural life. When Long Xiao finally opened his eyes, he didn't see the sprawling silk canopy of his palace or the golden-laid dragons of his bedchamber. Instead, he saw a soot-stained ceiling and felt the sharp, stinging heat of cheap rice wine being poured directly into his open wounds. "Gah," he hissed, his hand flying up to catch her wrist. Even half dead, his grip was like iron. "Easy there, you big water buffalo," Xiao Yu grumbled, pulling her arm back and leaning over him with a needle and thread. "You're lucky my grandpa was a medic in the border wars, or you'd be vulture food by now. Stop squirming." Xiao looked at her, his mind reeling. No one had spoken to him with such casual, blunt disrespect in over 20 years. He was the Lord of the Black Dragon, a man who commanded 10,000 blades with a whisper. Yet here was a girl with charcoal on her nose, treating him like an unruly farm animal. Who are you?" he managed to rasp, his throat feeling like he'd swallowed glass. "I'm Xiao Yu. And you're the unlucky merchant I found being bullied by those bandits in the woods," she lied, or rather, she assumed. She wasn't one for court politics. "My courtyard is remote, hidden, and safe from the prying eyes of the local magistrates. You stay here tonight, you heal, and you leave tomorrow. I don't need trouble, and you, Mr. Merchant, look like a giant magnet for it." Gio's hand went instinctively to his waist. He felt the cold, hard jade of the dragon pendant hidden in the folds of his inner belt. He realized she had no idea who he was. For the first time in his adult life, he wasn't a sect leader, a warlord, or a target. He was just a man named Xiao. The silence of the room was broken as her grandfather entered. He was an old man with a slight limp and eyes as sharp as a hawk's. He glanced at Gio's wounds, then his eyes drifted to the pendant peeking through the torn silk. His breath hitched. He knew that jade. He had seen it on the belt of the old sect leader decades ago. "Grandpa," Xiao Yu chirped, unaware of the tension. "I used the Gatling to save him. He's staying the night. We have extra rice, right?" The old man pulled Xiao Yu aside, his voice a low, frantic whisper. "Do you know what kind of storm you've brought into this house?" "No, better you don't. But listen to me. The sky is turning red. The Black Dragon sect is in turmoil. We need a way out of this village before the real soldiers come looking for merchants who don't want to be found." Xiao watched him from the bed, his mind already spinning a web of countermoves. He was the lion in the rabbit hole, and while he was wounded, he was far from defeated. What secrets is Grandpa hiding from his past in the military? Find out in the next part. Subscribe to our channel and join our community of story lovers. The Ghost Bride's Contract. The next morning, the mist hung low over the village as the local crier rang a bronze bell, delivering news that shook the entire province. The young master of the Black Dragon sect, Qingshan, has died of a broken heart. He has passed away from the grief of losing his fallen uncle. A state funeral and a massive sacrifice are to be held in the capital. Long Xiao, sitting in the shadows of the porch and nursing a bowl of bitter medicinal tea, narrowed his eyes. A cold, dark understanding settled in his chest. A fake death drug, he realized. Qingshan is hiding in a coffin, waiting for the elders to swear fealty to his memory before he miraculously returns to take the throne. He thinks he's won. Grandpa sat down across from Xiao Yu at the rough wooden table. His face was grave, lined with the weight of a secret he had kept for 18 years. There is something you must know. Years ago, when your father was a young captain, he saved the old sect leader's life during a mountain ambush. A debt of honor was recorded. A marriage contract was signed in blood. Xiao Yu nearly choked on her rice, her eyes wide. A contract? With who? You were betrothed to the young master, Qingshan, Grandpa said quietly. What? I'm supposed to marry that spoiled, murderous brat? Xiao Yu slammed her chopsticks down. But he's dead. The crier just said so. Precisely, Grandpa whispered, leaning in. The Dragon House is about to enter a bloody civil war. But if you enter the manor now as the widowed bride of the recently deceased young master, you will have the protection of the ancestors. The ghost bride status is sacred. No magistrate, no soldier, and no rival can touch you without offending the heavens. It is the only way to get you and me to the capital where we can disappear into the crowds. It is the only way to survive the coming purge. Xiao watched the girl. She looked devastated, her freedom suddenly tethered to a man she despised. Yet, beneath the shock, he saw a spark of fierce determination. He felt a strange, unfamiliar pang in his chest. He didn't want her to be a widow to a fraud. "I'll go with you," Xiao said suddenly, his voice steady. "You?" Xiao Yu scoffed, wiping her mouth. "You can barely walk 10 feet without coughing blood, Mr. Merchant." "I have connections in the capital," Xiao said. His voice dropped into that cold, authoritative baritone that usually made generals tremble. "If my niece-in-law is going to enter a house of vipers, she'll need a guard who knows how to bite back. Think of me as your personal steward." Xiao Yu looked at the merchant and then at her grandfather. She didn't know why, but she felt safer when this mysterious man was nearby. "Fine. But if you slow me down, I'm leaving you at the city gates." The plot thickens. Will Xiao Yu survive the nest of vipers in the capital? Follow and like for more, and don't forget to comment your theories below. The funeral of a living man. The Black Dragon Manor was no longer a palace of life. It had been transformed into a fortress of white silk, guttering candles, and morning lanterns that cast long, ghostly shadows. Xiao Yu felt incredibly small in her white bridal mourning robes. The fabric was heavy, the veil itchy, but she kept her chin high. Behind her, dressed in the drab, gray clothes of a simple manservant and keeping his head low under a wide straw hat, was Long Jiao. His eyes were hidden, but his hand never left the hidden hilt of a sleeve blade concealed in his tunic. He felt the familiar chill of his own home, now twisted by his nephew's treachery. Inside the great hall, the grieving mother of Qingshan, Madame Lu, wailed over a massive, gold-inlaid closed casket. Her cries were loud, but Jiao noticed there were no tears on her face. When she saw Xiao Yu enter, she stopped mid-wail, her eyes turning into slits of pure venom. "So, this is the country bumpkin my father-in-law chose in a moment of madness?" Madame Lu sneered, her voice echoing off the marble walls. "You come to our house to claim a title while my son is cold in the ground? You are a curse. A common girl like you is not fit to even sweep the steps of this manor." "I come to fulfill an oath of blood," Xiao Yu said, her voice surprisingly steady. "My grandfather is an honorable man. If the contract signed by the old lord says I am a daughter of the dragon house, then I am. Whether I am a bride or a widow, I will honor the name." Long Jiao watched from the corners of the room. He saw the corpse in the casket move ever so slightly, a tiny shift of the lid to let in air. He suppressed a dark laugh. He also noticed the white moonlight, Lu Jingshu, a high-born noblewoman and distant cousin who had always maneuvered to be the sect leader's wife. She was whispering to the captain of the guards, her manicured finger pointing directly at Xiao Yu. "That girl," Jingshu sneered softly. "She's an eyesore. Find a reason to punish her tonight. I want to see how much honor she has when her back is being striped by the lash. We must teach her the hierarchy of the capital." Jiao stepped forward from the shadows, his presence suddenly making the room feel 5 degrees colder. "The young mistress is under the ancient protection of the house marriage laws," he said, his voice a low rumble. "Anyone who touches her without cause touches the honor of the sect ancestors. Do the guards here wish to offend the spirits of the dead?" The guards hesitated, chilled by the aura of the servant. Madame Lu frowned. "Who is this insolent slave? Why does he speak in my hall?" "He is my steward," Xiao Yu said quickly, grabbing Jiao's arm. "And he's very protective." The tension is rising. Can Xiao Yu hold her ground against the elite of the capital? Subscribe to our channel to see the dragon reveal his true fire. Fire in the courtyard. The bullying within the manor began almost immediately. Madame Lu and Lu Jingshu were determined to break the village girl. They gave Xiao Yu the smallest, coldest servant's room in the north wing and assigned her the hardest, most degrading chores, scrubbing the stone floors of the ancestral hall with cold water in the dead of night. One afternoon, the trap was set. Madame Lu accused Xiao Yu of disrespecting the ancestors because a single stick of incense had gone out in the wind. "Whip her!" Madame Lu shrieked. 30 lashes to teach the peasants some piety. The guards grabbed Xiao Yu's arms, dragging her to the center of the courtyard. Xiao Yu struggled, her heart pounding. It was the wind. I didn't do anything. As the lead guard raised the heavy, salt-soaked leather lash, a small pebble flew through the air with the velocity of a crossbow bolt. It struck the guard's wrist, shattering the bone instantly. The whip fell to the snow. Long Xiao stepped out from the shadows of the pillars. He didn't look like a grey-clad servant anymore. His posture was straight, his eyes burning with a primal, predatory light. He looked like a god of war who had just descended from the heavens. "Kneel," he said. The single word was a command that seemed to vibrate in the very stones of the manor. The guards, battle-hardened men who had faced armies, felt their knees buckle. They didn't know why, but their bodies recognized the voice of the true king. They fell to the ground, trembling. "What is this?" Madame Lu gasped, her face pale. "Guards! Kill this insolent slave! Cut him into pieces!" But Xiao moved faster than the human I could follow. He was a blur of black and gray. In a matter of seconds, the 4 elite guards were on the ground, their pressure points struck, their limbs temporarily paralyzed. He stepped over them and turned to Xiao Yu. His gaze softened for a fleeting second, a look of genuine concern breaking through the ice. "Are you hurt, Xiao Yu?" "No," she whispered, looking at him with wide, disbelieving eyes. "Who are you, really? Merchants don't fight like that. Servants don't command the air." "I told you," he said, pulling her close as the first flakes of a winter storm began to fall. "I have connections. And I have a very short temper when people touch what belongs to me. From now on, you don't scrub floors. You don't bow to these vipers." That night, in the quiet safety of her room, she tended to his reopening wounds. The air was thick with tension and the unspoken realization that their lives were now irrevocably entwined. Xiao Yu looked at the merchant and realized she didn't want to be a widow to a ghost. She wanted to be with the man who fought like a dragon. Is love finally blooming in the cold heart of the manor? Like this video if you're shipping Xiao and Xiao Yu. Follow and like for more. The Resurrection Trap. The following morning, the manor erupted into scripted chaos. A miracle. A miracle from the heavens. Qing Shan emerged from his quarters, draped in golden robes, looking remarkably healthy for a man who had died 3 days ago. He claimed the ancestors had seen his devotion and breathed life back into his lungs so he could lead the sect in its hour of need. He immediately sought out Xiao Yu in the garden, his eyes filled with a dark, possessive hunger. "My bride, I hear you were quite eager to join my house while I was away. It seems the heavens wanted us together. Now that I am back, we shall finalize our marriage tonight. I think a celebration is in order." Xiao Yu backed away, her skin crawling. The contract was for a dead man. "I am a widow in the eyes of the law. I will not marry a liar. You are mine." Qing Shan shouted, losing his temper and reaching for her throat. "I am the lord of this sect now. She is not yours," a voice boomed, loud enough to rattle the windows of the manor. The massive double doors of the great hall were kicked open. Long Xiao walked in, but he had discarded his gray rags. He wore a deep crimson robe with a golden dragon winding around his torso, the ceremonial armor of the sect leader. He walked with a limp no longer, he walked with the weight of absolute power. The elders, who had been gathered for Qing Shan's resurrection, gasped in unison. They fell to their faces, foreheads hitting the cold floor. The sect leader. "The Lord has returned." "Uncle?" Qing Shan turned as white as a sheet, his knees shaking. You were dead. I saw the 18 poisoned daggers go into your back. I saw you fall into the ravine." "I am the dragon," Xiao said, his voice like rolling thunder that shook the very foundations of the house. "I do not die simply because a maggot wishes it so. And as for the marriage contract, you forfeited your rights the moment you drew blood against your master. Xiao Yu didn't marry a ghost, nephew. She saved the dragon from the mud. And the dragon keeps what is his." He reached out and took Xiao Yu's hand, pulling her to his side in front of the entire assembly. "From this day forward, she is not the young mistress or widowed bride. She is the lady of the Black Dragon sect. My wife." my equal. The reveal we've all been waiting for. If you cheered when Jill walked in, hit that like button. Subscribe for the final showdown. The Alchemist's Poison. Lu Jingshu, the White Moonlight, was not a woman who accepted defeat easily. Seeing her dreams of becoming the sect lady slipping away, she turned to the darkest corners of alchemy. She invited Xiao Yu to a private reconciliation tea in the pavilion. I was terribly wrong about you, Xiao Yu, Jingshu said, her voice dripping with fake honey. I see now why the Lord loves you. Let us put aside our differences and be sisters in this great house. Xiao Yu sat down, looking at the delicate porcelain cups. She picked one up, but before she drank, she caught a whiff of the steam. Her nose, trained by a decade of mixing volatile gunpowder and exotic chemical salts, caught a sharp, metallic bitterness. Arsenic, mixed with crushed nightshade and a trace of lead. This tea smells wonderful, Xiao Yu said, a playful but dangerous glint in her eye. She began spinning the cup on the saucer. But in my village, we have a very old tradition for reconciliation. The guest and the host switch cups. It shows that both hearts are open and there are no secrets between them. Shall we, sister? Jingshu's fake smile froze. Her hand trembled as she reached for her own cup. That is just a silly peasant superstition, Xiao Yu. Surely a lady of your status is above such things. Are you calling my family's tradition silly? Xiao Yu asked, her eyes narrowing into cold points. Long Jiu stood in the doorway, unnoticed. He had been watching from the shadows, his hand on his sword. He let out a cold, sharp laugh that made Jingshu jump. Drink the tea, Lady Lu, Jiu commanded. Or admit right now that the liquid in that cup is as foul and blackened as your heart. Trapped and trembling, Jingshu tried to dump the tea onto the ground, but Xiao Yu was faster. She grabbed the noblewoman's wrist with a firm grip. The poison spilled onto the dark wood of the table, hissing and bubbling as it ate into the lacquer. The guards rushed in and seized the alchemist hiding behind the screens. Xiao Yu looked at Jiu and shrugged. I told you, my lord. I don't need a sword to fight my battles. I just need a good nose and a bit of fire. I know, Jiu said, stepping forward to kiss her forehead. That's why I chose you over 1,000 princesses. Xiao Yu is officially a boss. Share this story with a friend who loves strong female leads. Follow and like for more. The Siege of the Dragon Manor. Ching Shan, now desperate and realizing he was facing execution for treason, gathered the rogue generals and the mercenaries he had bought with stolen gold. They surrounded the manor at midnight, thousands of torches flickering in the woods. Jiu is still recovering from the poison. Ching Shan screamed to his men. He is weak. We have the numbers. Break the gates and kill everyone. The girl is mine. Long Jiu drew his heavy black blade, his face set in a grim mask of war. He prepared to lead his remaining loyal guards in a final, bloody suicide charge to buy Xiao Yu time to escape through the secret tunnels. But Xiao Yu stepped in front of him, holding a lit torch. Wait, Jiu. You fight with steel and blood. That's too messy. Tonight, let me show you how a village girl fights. She led him to the high rooftops of the manor. Across the parapets, she had spent the last 3 days hiding dozens of her improved Gatling launchers, the ones she called heaven-shaking thunders. On my mark, she shouted. The night sky didn't turn black with arrows, it turned into a kaleidoscope of gold, screaming red, and blinding emerald. But these weren't just decorative fireworks. These were packed with iron filings, flash powder, and explosive salts designed to create a terrifying concussive force. The skyflowers rained down on the rebel army. They didn't just look pretty, they exploded with the sound of 1,000 drums, setting the rebel banners on fire and creating a wall of thick, acrid white smoke. The mercenaries, superstitious and terrified by what looked like celestial lightning, broke ranks and fled in terror. Jiu's loyal dark guards, wearing masks, moved through the smoke like ghosts, picking off the confused traitors with surgical precision. Ching Shan was eventually found hiding in a wine barrel in the cellar, covered in soot and shaking with fear. Xiao Yu stood over him, holding a single, unlit firework. "Hey, beauty," she mocked, mirroring his earlier arrogance. "Do you want to buy a firework? This one is on the house." The brave village girl saves the manor. Subscribe to our channel and hit the bell for the grand finale of this epic journey. The Empress of the Fireworks. 5 years passed like a pleasant dream. The Black Dragon Manor was no longer a place of dark whispers and hidden blades. It had been transformed into a place of light, laughter, and prosperity. Xiao Yu had completely revolutionized the sect. She had turned their secret alchemical knowledge away from poisons and toward a global fireworks and black powder trade. The Black Dragon sect was now the primary protector of the Silk Road, bringing peace and immense wealth to the northern province. In the sprawling sun-drenched garden, 2 small children, a boy with Jio's piercing, serious eyes and a girl with Xiao Yu's mischievous spirit, were chasing a fluffy white dog through the peony bushes. Long Jio sat on the porch, a cup of high-grade tea in his hand. He looked younger, the lines of stress gone from his face. He looked more relaxed than he had ever been in his entire life of war. "Grandpa is coming for the Moon Festival tonight," Xiao Yu said, walking over and leaning her head on his shoulder. He sent a messenger saying he's bringing a new recipe for purple thundercrackers that he claims can be seen from the next province. Jio pulled her into his lap, ignoring the children's giggles. "As long as you and the old man don't blow up the East Wing again like you did last year," he teased. "I can't promise that," she laughed, tracing the dragon embroidery on his chest. "Life is too boring without a little noise." He looked at her, his silent lord heart finally, completely full. "You saved my life twice, Xiao Yu. Once from the poisoned blades of my family, and once from the silence of my own soul. I am the dragon, but I am happily yours." They kissed as the first ceremonial firework of the festival hit the night sky, a giant, glowing dragon made of pure, golden light that stayed in the air for a long, beautiful minute. Thank you so much for watching this epic journey from the bamboo forest to the dragon throne. If you loved the ending, please subscribe to our channel, like this video, and follow us for more amazing tales of love and power. Comment dragon down below if you made it to the end. See you in the next story.